Trevor Lawrence is my number one quarterback. And to me, he's earned this over the life of his career. And what you'll see when we get to his card, let's flip this thing over, is that he just checks every box. And I'll tell you this right now. In evaluating quarterbacks, and I started doing this in 2012, was my first year evaluating draft choices, and really heavily doing it. I've followed the draft for many, many, many years. But to actually say I've watched film and I've really looked to see the little finer things and intricate details and taking notes and things of that nature, I started that in 2012. And it just so happened that the best quarterback for me was Andrew Luck, which was in that 2012 draft. The best quarterback to me I've ever evaluated was Joe Burrow. I thought Burrow just brought a different set of skills to the table that was unmatched even by Andrew Luck. And I think Lawrence is another one of those guys. I don't think he is better than either Joe Burrow or Andrew Luck, if you ask me. I wouldn't put him ahead of either one of those guys, personally, myself. But he'd be the third guy. And I think nipping at his heels is Zach Wilson. I mean, he's a unique specimen, too. But Trevor Lawrence, for me, he's seen it all. He's done it all. He's done it at a high level. He's got everything. He's got the size. I mean, even with some of these other guys, even Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow wasn't 6'6". You know what I mean? Joe Burrow wasn't, he didn't look like Trevor Lawrence. And it's not like Trevor Lawrence 230 pounds, which you would prefer him to be at 6'6". But, man, I mean, he's got the amount of starts you're looking for, which means he's got the experience. He's a winner. 67% completion percentage for his career. I mean, he checks all the boxes, does Trevor Lawrence, man. His size is the first strength. And when you're talking 6'6", 220, I don't need to say much more. Arm talent. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. He doesn't. Again, you'll find stronger arms in this particular draft. I think there are several guys that can throw it a lot further, a lot harder. But Lawrence is the guy that I trust. He can get it wherever it needs to go, as I've mentioned, with several guys in this draft, including Justin Fields, among others. Athleticism, and this is something that you see with a lot of these quarterbacks, is that they're tough. They'll lower the shoulder. They'll get the extra yard or two. Again, that shit's got to come to a stop at the next level. It will cease to exist. This whole toughness. Yeah, I want you tough in the pocket. And if it's 3rd and 7 in the fourth quarter and we're down 6 and we need this first down, yeah, I want you to show your toughness. I want you to dive. I want you to lower the shoulder. I want you to do whatever you got to do to get the first down. Situational awareness. But in the first quarter, I don't need you running over a linebacker or safety. I'm good. I'd much rather you slide or run out of bounds. But he can run. We saw it in 2019 against Ohio State. We know he's capable. He can take off with the best of them. Accuracy in and out of the pocket. He can extend plays. He can make things happen inside the pocket with accuracy. Outside the pocket, you'll see that. I'm going to break his film down, and that'll be up at some point this weekend, either Friday or Saturday. And you'll see exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Trevor Lawrence and his accuracy, him putting the football exactly where he wants to put it, where his guy can get it and the defender cannot. Pocket mobility and poise. To me, you will not find a quarterback, and this includes Joe Burrow and Andrew Luck, who I have evaluated, as I've already said, very highly. You will not find a quarterback in this year's draft or any other draft that I've seen that is able to negotiate a dirty pocket. Trevor Lawrence's ability to, within the confines of the pocket, move around, create more time, traffic all around him. You've got trash at his feet. You've got a collapsing right guard that's giving up pressure. He stands tall and he delivers the football. And there's so much commotion around him, and you wouldn't be able to tell it. You'd think he was in a Mac Jones, isolated, easy money pocket, clean as a whistle. And yet there is a lot going on around him. His left tackle's giving up pressure. His right guard's getting beat like a drum. And yet Trevor Lawrence is standing tall and delivering the football. His ability to quiet the noise around him in a dirty pocket with trash around him and deliver a strike is uncanny. Haven't seen anything like it. I will definitely show you clip after clip of him standing tall in a muddy pocket and delivering the football. I think that is uncanny and it's extraordinary. And that translates to the next level. Extends to throw. I talked about a couple of guys earlier, that they're not extending plays to throw. They're extending to run, and you want your quarterback to extend with his eyes up, looking to make a play down the field. Look, it's cool if you run for 8, and there are going to be times where I need you to run for 8. But I'd much rather you look for the 48-yard touchdown strike or the 33-yard gain down to the other team's, 18-yard line than you scramble and pick up 6 yards or even 10 or 12. If there's a bigger play to be had, I'd like you to explore that, and he does that. He's extending, looking to throw. Athletic arrogance. I talked about this with Zach Wilson. Only the elites have athletic arrogance. I mean, you can't have it. I mean, there were guys that thought they were good and they weren't. We all know the dude playing pickup basketball, probably was nice in high school, wasn't all that nice in college, or probably wasn't even nice in high school, thinks he's the shit, thinks he's got all kinds of handles, but I could go up there and I can pluck him. I can give me the cookies. But he thinks he's nice, and then when you reach in the cookie jar and you come out with the rock, he wants to call foul. We all know those dudes. That's not Trevor Lawrence. He's athletically arrogant because he's that damn good, and he can back it up. So he's the guy that you get off the bus and okay, he's the alpha. He's a guy that's, if we're going to lose today, it'll be because of him. And if you're on his team, if we're going to win today, it's going to be because of him. Process and progress. I talk about P&P all the time, being able to go through your progressions, see the football field, go through your reads, make the right decision, know what the defense is in, quickly identify, get it to the right guy. You see him do that. There are times where he gets stuck. We'll talk about that here in a second. But for the most part, you see him going through his progressions. He recognizes what the defense is doing, and he gets it where he needs to, gets the football where it needs to go. Playmaker. I've talked about this already. If you're going to be the number 1 overall pick in any given draft at the quarterback position, you damn well better be able to extend plays and be a playmaker. Not only with your legs, but with your arm as well. You better be able to, on 3rd and goal from the 7, roll out of the pocket, extend, and right as you're nearing the out-of-bounds sidelines, throw a strike to your receiver on the back end line. You better be able to do that. On 2nd and 10 from the 13-yard line, because we know shit gets tight in the red zone. You better be able to roll out to your left and extend, and see the tight end coming across late and throw across your body and zing it in there for the touchdown. You better be able to do that. When shit breaks down and you're at your own, deep in your own territory, you're at your own 6-yard line, and you drop back and nobody's open, you better be able to run that arc, get outside the pocket, outrun that defensive end, and you better be able to throw it 23 yards on a frozen rope on the sidelines to a receiver who's standing right by out of bounds, but he's got both feet down, and you don't need him to stretch up. You don't need him to stretch back or down. You need to hit him right between the 1 and the 8, or the 8 and the 3. That's Trevor Lawrence. And he's a winner. He's a winner. 34-2, man. 3 seasons, only 2 losses. Both of those losses coming in the playoffs. One in the national championship game in 2019 and one in the semifinals in 2020. He won it all in 2018. leading the Clemson Tigers to a national championship in his first year as the starter after taking over for Kelly Bryant 2 games in. So this is a guy, or 3 or 4 games in, this is the guy that has seen it all, done it all. Hasn't lost a ton of games in his career, finds ways to win. He finds ways to get it done. It's not always pretty, but it's usually gritty. And most importantly, it's usually a dub. So you go from his strengths to his weaknesses. He will stare it down. You know, I'm watching him and he is just massaging it. I mean, there are throws where I'm like, bro, are you serious right now? And I'm going to show you this on the film. You're like, are you serious? Are you really going to just stare at him like that safety's not watching you and you're not going to just, he might as well have taken the safety's hand and said, come on, man. And walked him over like he was a 4-year-old child trying to cross the street. Come on, man. I'm going to take you right where you need to go. He might as well have done that because he's staring it down. I can't tell you how many times watching him on film, too, where it's 1 hitch, it's 2 hitch, and he's throwing a comeback or he's throwing a hitch. And I'm like, dude, you can't still throw that. And he does. I'm thinking about the Virginia game in the ACC championship in 2019. I'm like, you can't still throw that. You know, you can't double stamp a triple stamp. You can't double stamp a triple stamp. You can't still throw that hitch. You just double hitched. You can't throw it. But he still did. How that wasn't a pick six? Don't ask me. But he'll get better at that. Deep ball accuracy. I talked about this same thing with Justin Fields. And there are times where guys are open deep and he's short on the deep ball. I need him to hit that. And there are times where he throws absolute dimes. But there are too many instances where these balls are short. And again, I'm going to show you this on the film. But I can tell you this. That's something he's got to get better at if he wants to be elite at the next level. And I think he will. Ball security. 10 fumbles in 3 years. That's not egregious. It's not great either. And he lost 7 of those fumbles. And that's the part that really gets you. If you fumble it 10 times and you only lose 2, okay, shit happens. You lose 7 of them, and you know, a lot of times with fumbles, it's the luck of the draw. At the end of the day, I need him to have better ball security. I'm watching that Ohio State game, his last collegiate game. He fumbled like 3 or 4 times in that game. That can't happen. He's got to be better with the football. Better security with the football in hand. But at the end of the day, he's a top 5 pick. That's where I project him. Honestly speaking, he's a top 3. Same with Zach Wilson, but he's a top 5 pick. He'll go 1, no worse than 2. Same thing with Zach Wilson. He'll go 1, no worse than 2. And my comp for him is Justin Herbert. You know, now here's the thing. I wasn't a massive Justin Herbert fan coming out of Oregon. You guys know that. If you watched my show last year, I told you that a million times. Thought that Justin Herbert was toolsy, was the phrase I used with Justin Herbert. He's toolsy. He's big. He's got a cannon. The biggest difference I see on the positive for Justin Herbert is his arm's way stronger than that of Trevor Lawrence. Not even close. On the Trevor Lawrence side of things, when you talk about positives, where he's better than Justin Herbert coming into the league, he's more decisive. He's more willing to run and make you pay with his legs. I think he's a better athlete than Justin Herbert in terms of his ability to run when he gets it revved up. And he's a better winner than Justin Herbert ever was at Oregon. So I just look at the stature, the size, the ability. We saw Herbert and what he did last year when he came into the league and how he was able to extend plays and how he was able to use his athleticism to hurt teams on 3rd and 7 when he needed to run. When he needed to extend a play to gun it in the back of the end zone, he could do that. When he needed to chuck it deep, when he went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady, he could and he did. When he went toe-to-toe on a Monday night with Drew Brees and should have won the game, I see a lot of those same attributes in Trevor Lawrence. And I think when it's all said and done, he'll be too hard. He'll be too hard to pass up at 1. And I think Urban Meyer will think long and hard because Zach Wilson is a different specimen, as I've already mentioned. But I just think he's going to ultimately be the first pick in the 2021 NFL draft.
Louie